So this is going to be a YouTube short to explain some of the ramifications of the IP bubble bursting. Okay, I've discussed this throughout the year, and we now see tangible evidence of a bursting IP bubble. So now I'm going to discuss MakerDAO and Coinbase. Okay, MakerDAO, Coinbase, and Circle actually. I'm sorry, MakerDAO, Coinbase, and USDC. We have issued a 117-page report on Coinbase showing significant risks that are just not discussed in the media or the sell-side analyst reports given by the big Wall Street banks. And we also, Veritaseum Capital, filed suit against Coinbase for patent infringement. Claims table of about 117 pages or so. Significant. Now, our research shows that Coinbase is infringing, or roughly 90% plus of Coinbase revenues are derived from infringing activities. That's our research, okay? Our research opinion, not necessarily adjudicated fact, but that's what we found. Coinbase is a member of MakerDAO. MakerDAO was actually sued by an entity called True Return Systems, which claims that they're infringing on their patent. Okay, Coinbase submitted a proposal to MakerDAO as a MakerDAO member. MakerDAO voted to approve that proposal to transfer $1.6 billion of USDC to Coinbase. Okay, this is done even though Coinbase has a patent infringement suit pending. Okay, I think it's quite a legitimate suit, but one of our entities are involved in the suit just for, transparency. In addition, USDC, in our research opinion, infringes on multiple patents of the Veritaseum 566 patent, US 566, and also the Japan 477 patent. This is pretty clear cut. For instance, in the news a week or two ago, or a couple of months ago, it was noted that Coinbase, or Center, which is the association of which Coinbase and Circle are the founding members, froze the USDC of 38 addresses due to the sanctions coming from the Tornado Cash, addresses that were sanctioned coming from the Tornado Cash sanction. Tornado Cash is the smart contract mixer, or the token mixer. The smart contract itself was sanctioned as software. Unprecedented. I'm not going to comment on that, but I don't think I'm necessarily a fan of it. But it is what it is. They don't necessarily listen to me. But the fact that Center was able to freeze the USDC in those addresses meant that, or shows that they use data system that infringes on the 577, the 566 and the 477 patent. Go through the @Reggie Middleton and @Veritaseum Inc. Twitter feeds, the tweets from today, and you'll see evidence of such. Okay, so let's add this together. We allege that Coinbase is infringing heavily on patented technology. We are alleging that USDC infringes, okay, not necessarily an entity, but USDC infringes on patented technology. Someone else, True Return Systems, is alleging that MakerDAO infringes on their patented technology. Despite all this, Coinbase, as an influential member of the MakerDAO, has convinced MakerDAO to transfer $1.6 billion of USDC from a decentralized or allegedly decentralized DAO to a fully centralized entity, Coinbase Prime. Now let's think about this for a minute. The whole purpose of minting DAI and using DAI is for its decentralized attributes. Okay? So, if you're a big believer in decentralization, and you are concerned about centralization, why would you take such a large chunk of the reserve assets, which have a centralized component in and of themselves, the ability to be frozen, and put it into a centralized entity? Well, here's a couple of reasons why you shouldn't do that. Coinbase alludes that they're going to put this USDC in cold storage, which I don't disbelieve them. I'm sure they would. That would help secure against hackers. But hackers aren't the biggest risk. The biggest risk are creditors. Okay? Coinbase has economically lost money every quarter they reported in where Bitcoin has not increased in price. They're unprofitable, significantly so. And MakerDAO, as a decentralized entity, is using Coinbase as a centralized bank. A. B. Coinbase is invariably taking risk with this USDC. How do I know? Because they're offering a return. They're offering a yield. They're calling it a rewards program. Cute, but it's not a credit card, right? It's a yield program. The rewards are measured in APY, annualized percentage yield. Okay, that yield comes from somewhere, and that comes from risk-taking activity. So, yes, MakerDAO is storing a large amount of USDC, and they're storing that large amount of USDC without return. But the reason is because they're not taking investment risk with it. The reason why Coinbase is offering investment risk, investment yield, as in APY, is because they will be taking investment risk, right? Risk is the price of reward. So I can understand why Coinbase would want to, why MakerDAO would want a return on their static assets. Perfectly understandable. But centralized entity. So Coinbase puts it, the USDC into cold storage. Okay, the transfer of USDC into cold storage invariably and likely infringes on the patent. Okay, the 566 patent. In addition, right? In addition, you are now exposed to Coinbase's credit risk and counterparty risk, where you had no credit and counterparty risk before. That is the entire point of using smart contracts in DeFi. Remember, I'm the guy who alleges he created DeFi, or at least advanced DeFi. My entire mindset was to avoid the counterparty and credit risk of Coinbase. They're going exactly against, they're going in direct contravention to the tenets that I had in mind when I created this stuff. Here's why I created it with these tenets in mind. Because now that $1.6 billion is available to creditors. One of those creditors could be Veritaseum Assets, who is suing Coinbase, right, for patent infringement. Okay, and it is a significant amount, very significant amount. And anybody else who sues Coinbase. Now, are those assets segregated, that $1.6 billion? Don't say yes because they're put in a cold storage, because the Coinbase model, as I understand it, is you transfer the $1.6 billion from your cold wallet, presumably cold wallet of MakerDAO, into a cold wallet, into a hot wallet of Coinbase, and then into Coinbase's cold wallet vault using their MPC or whatever methodologies that they use. It is secured against hackers, right? But it is now wide open to creditors, okay, of which patent owners who are looking to protect their patent rights and any other potential plaintiffs or creditors of Coinbase, and there are quite a few, will have access to. How do I know they'll have access to it? Because Coinbase's CEO said it himself after being urged to by the SEC. They said specifically, not specifically, I can't quote it, but they said that the customers of Coinbase will be treated as unsecured creditors in the event of a bankruptcy, which is to be expected. Anybody who understands corporate structure and finance in the U.S. assumes such. Coinbase is not a licensed bank. They don't seem to have a bank charter. They're not, don't have access to SIPC and FDIC, but even if they did, it's for much, much smaller amounts than $1.6 billion. So that $1.6 billion is now sitting in a honeypot and is a target. MakerDAO, those who voted for this, were you aware of that when you voted for it? Were you aware that the actual asset itself infringes USDC? Were you aware that Coinbase is in 12-digit, I can't even do the math, many-digit patent infringement lawsuit over the very technology that they're using to store and transfer and generate yield on USDC. Add this to the fact that you were just sued by True Return Systems. This is not the way to manage risk. I am not anti-Coinbase. I'm definitely not anti-MakerDAO. This is a public service announcement. Okay, do understand what the powers of DeFi are and are capable of. Okay, don't take your Ferrari engine and bolt shoe horses on it, or horseshoes on it, shoe horses, bolt horseshoes on it, and then expect it to perform. Okay, you have groundbreaking, unprecedented technology. Right, scrapping everything, throw it in Coinbase, decentralize it, to make it susceptible to counterparty and credit risk and all types of other legacy finance things is just counterproductive. You don't have to take my word for it. Just consider it a bit of free advice, and this time this advice is worth more than you paid for it.